Hi, my name is Summer Hooper, and my speech is on how to raise a baby in their first year. When I got pregnant, I had a friend refer 2 books to me on how to raise a baby. At that time, I was more concerned about being pregnant and going into labor than I was about having a baby and taking care of them. I had my first niece when I was 13 years old and have babysat for my nieces and nephews several times. At the time of being pregnant, I had 21 nieces and nephews. The part of raising a child didn't scare me as much as the fear of going into labor and not knowing what to expect. Boy, was I wrong. Once I had my baby, I forgot about the pain of labor, but was now dealt with how to raise a newborn baby, in which I realized I didn't know anything about. Through trial and error and relying on various resources, I have come to feel more confident in raising a baby in the first year. I still don't know everything and will continue to learn, but as I have implemented various resources, I have come to realize that if a baby has its needs met, it will be a happy, thriving baby. I'm no expert on raising a baby, but since I have raised my own daughter, I feel that I have some knowledge on the subject. When I have been desperate to find an answer on how to help my daughter, I have done quite a bit of research, including asking others for advice. I have come to know that every baby is different, but that doesn't mean that the same techniques won't work on most cases. I now babysit my 3-month-old niece full-time along with my 1-year-old daughter. I imagined it would be harder than it is. The techniques and skills I learned in raising my daughter I have applied to my niece, and it has worked like magic. Although not everyone will have children, I believe this topic applies to most people due to the fact that they will encounter a baby at one time or another in their lifetime. Most people want to get married and have children. If I can pass on some of my knowledge, my hope is that it can help others in need. Among the resources I have acquired, I have come to learn the importance of being consistent while using a schedule, relying on a mother's intuition, and relying upon 2 books titled Baby Wise and The Happiest Baby on the Block. I will now go on to discuss the first point about how consistency in a schedule is very beneficial for a baby. Being consistent with a schedule helps a baby to thrive. As babies have a schedule, they start to learn and adapt to that schedule. They begin to know what to expect because they get used to having a routine. Babies and children thrive on a schedule and do better when they know their expectations. On Parents.com, Jacqueline Burt Wang states, "Babies like a predictable world, and for good reason. For young children, every day is packed with learning and excitement, and routines provide relief from the chaos. Think about it this way," says Harvey Karp, creator of the DVD and book, The Happiest Baby on the Block. If you spend your entire workday mastering new tasks, you appreciate your regular coffee breaks. Babies are more confident when they know what to expect. In stressful situations, they can adapt better when they have the comfort of a routine to help them. The second point I have learned to be beneficial in raising a baby is a mother's intuition. A mother's intuition usually is best. Despite the things I've learned, I have also come to realize that a mother's intuition can still trump everything else. On days that didn't go as planned, I learned to just go with the flow and do what was best for my child, even if that meant throwing everything I had learned out the window. I came to realize that naps and nighttime sleeping were almost just as important as eating. An example is when it was time to feed my daughter, but she had fallen asleep in the car on the way home, so I chose to let her sleep instead of waking her up to eat. I knew she wouldn't starve, and also knew that sleeping was just as important for her development. My daughter struggled with sleeping long for naps, so when she did sleep, I made sure to let her keep sleeping. The next 2 points I would like to discuss are based on the books that a friend of mine referred to me. The book titled On Becoming Baby Wise, Giving Your Infant the Gift of Nighttime Sleep, helped to create a structure for me in raising my daughter. Dr. Robert Bucknam and co-author Gary Ezzo introduce a method that incorporates feed time, wake time, and sleep time in order to give a baby the maximum development they need while ensuring better naps and sleep time. My friend Stephanie, who referred this book to me, liked to call the 3 steps feed time, play time, and sleep time. As long as you followed that structure and kept with the suggested time frames for each, a baby should be happy and thriving. As the baby gets older, the feed times gradually change in frequency as to allow for a growing, developing baby. After my daughter was born, I didn't know whether or not to stick to a schedule or go with the flow. As I talked with my family on what they did, it seemed like half of them did a more rigid schedule, while the other half were more flexible. This book talks about not doing either extremes, but finding a balance between the two instead. This made a lot more sense to me and gave me a direction of how to proceed with raising my baby. The second book that helped me wasn't focused so much on a schedule as it was on how to help soothe a fussy baby. The Happiest Baby on the Block was written by Dr. Harvey Karp, who has been a pediatrician since the 1970s when he started his schooling. This book saved my life in regards to calming a baby and keeping them happy once all their other needs were met. Dr. Karp explains the idea that babies are born premature due to the fact that they don't know how to do anything on their own. For this reason, he calls the first 3 months of a baby's life the fourth trimester. Due to a baby missing the comfort of the womb, he explains the concept of emulating the womb in order to make a baby happy and at ease. Dr. Karp is known for creating the 5 S's, which helps with imitating the womb and consequently calming a crying baby. The 5 S's stand for swaddling, side or stomach position, swinging, shushing, and sucking. The book goes into detail on each of these concepts, but after you make sure the baby has all of his or her needs met, applying the 5 S's will calm any crying baby. Implementing these steps also helps a baby sleep longer because it closely resembles the womb and makes them feel more comfortable. However, not all babies need every step. Some may only need 1 or 2 steps in order to feel more comfortable. Other babies may need all 5 steps in order to be calm and feel at ease. As I have been able to implement the concepts from these 2 books, I have had more of a direction on how to go about helping my child be happy while taking care of all of her needs. As we experience life's challenges, don't we come to realize that it's easier to go through life when helped by outside support and resources? As I have experienced raising my daughter in her first year of life, I have gained knowledge and skills that have given me more confidence in the future when having more children. I don't claim to be an expert by any means, but I hope that some of the knowledge and skills I have learned can also help others who are going through the same thing. I have been able to apply my knowledge to watching my 3-month-old niece full time, and she has taken to it really well. It's not always easy to know whether a child's disposition adds to the ease of raising them, or if the skills I have learned help a child be happier, or rather, if it's both aspects working together to create the perfect atmosphere for a happy, thriving baby. Either way, I hope that my experience can help others, regardless if it is their own child or not.